All righty, everybody. Welcome. Hope everyone is having a good day. It is Thursday, the 25th. I did not take a trade today, unfortunately. I did have a setup that I alerted on the live. I just was very picky on my fill. I did get tapped in. I just wanted a better fill, and I ended up not entering. I wanted to see a little bit more of a push inside that fair value gap. But this was the silver bullet setup for the day that we took on ES. Notice 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock, you're going to get a fair value gap targeting whatever that draw is. The draw is, obviously we have triple equal lows here that I want to get hunted. We create a fair value gap right here. You can see these wicks come back, tap into it directly on that wick. That's why I didn't get filled. I wanted to see a break back into this. Never got filled here, and then ended up selling off 5 handles to that resistance or sell side level. And then ended up coming up one more time, bounced into that fair value gap, respected it, and then came up from the low. Again, notice also we have not yet taken out that external level here now, right? Still have not taken out these lows. So that is going to be something that I am going to be watching for in the coming day. Well, I guess tomorrow's Friday. So right now, again, today I did not take a trade. Had the discipline to just kind of sit there, realize I didn't like the action. Didn't have really confidence in the draw. Notice we were just kind of chopping today. I kind of was expecting that since a lot of the movement and the volatility started to die down at first like 30 minutes after the open. So going into the rest of or just tomorrow, going into Friday, I am still bearish, and especially I am bearish on ES. Number one, looking at the daily, the clear draw and liquidity is still lower here. We haven't swept these relative equal lows. We've pulled back inside of this daily fair value gap. Also notice we have now retraced back to discount. So if I draw on the high to the low, we've now retraced back to discount. We've gone up inside that daily fair value gap, and now we're rejecting this 4-hour fair value gap here as well. We're starting to sell back off, and we're having a bigger time frame SMT. You can see we are forming an SMT from the previous high here on ES on the 1 hour. And if I look at NQ, go to the 1 hour, you can see we've swept this high here as well. So I would like to see us start to sell back off and take out these new lows. So going into tomorrow, I would like to see a little bit more consolidation in the overnight session. I don't want to see too much of a sell-off going into tomorrow. I'd like to see if we can get a short setup targeting that sell side level and going into tomorrow. So I would like to see a little bit more consolidation. And then when we at the open tomorrow, see if we can get a short setup targeting that draw being lower. If we end up going higher in the overnight session, my bias is still going to be short. That could be a possibility too. I want to see potentially go higher in this fair value gap, then reject lower. But we are forming SMT on a bigger time frame. I think NQ draw wants to be whatever that previous low is if we can. And I would but again, on a bigger time frame as well, keep in mind, NQ is still very strong, right? We still can definitely push up, but I would like to see, now that we are forming SMT at the highs, I would like to see us come back down to this 4-hour fair value gap right here and bring ES with it. So I am bearish going into tomorrow. I want to see a little bit more action start to form. No, right? Looking at the 15-minute, it's very hard to kind of understand. We're very choppy around this level, right? So I want to see more action start to form. Notice we've swept those previous highs. We're in this daily fair value gap. Notice the rejection at the highs. We can't seem to break through this. That's good for shorts. I'd like to see us start to sell back off, potentially go lower. And yeah, again, I just want to see more action start to form. Right now, not really forming a lot. We're just kind of chopping in this range. So depending on what happens in the overnight session is what's going to be my main bias going into tomorrow. But I am short biased. Took kind of a weird, feel like I was too impatient rushing into trades too much. Usually I'm more patient. Yep, you just got to come in every single day and recognize that. That's why if you have a struggle with that, print out, go to like a Google Doc, write down all your rules, print it out, slap it on your desk or your wall right next to your desk, wherever you trade. I entered off a sweep of internal lows, but it was also in a fair value gap. So entered straight off the sweep. We had an SMT formed when that level got swept. Let's check. Was this today? Where was that? Was that on the 1 minute? Yeah, it was. So you swept this low. Did you have a? Yeah, you did have a 15-minute fair value gap. 5-minute. What was the SMT here though? Yep, performing SMT there as well. That okay, that's not bad. Again, I'd be more patient. Again, a lot of the times you won't get that. You won't get like kind of that was kind of like you didn't really have any confirmation on that trade, but it's not a bad trade. Nice, nice, beautiful. Rate it 1 to 10. Which one? Oh, this one 1 to 10. Was this also today? This was at NQ, right? Yeah. This was right here. I'd probably give it a solid. I'd probably give it a solid A minus. I took another L today. It literally was so set on not entering a trade today because NQ and ES were giving mixed signals. Then right at the end of the day, I thought I found a play. It ripped right through my stop. Then I revenge traded to put me down around 300. I need to work on my discipline. So frustrating when I do that. I know. I understand, brother. I've been there before. You just got to, again, I have a rule where most of the time, if I, decide not to trade early on, I've decided not to trade and I won't come back later in the day. And that's just something you gotta, you gotta know you have a life outside of trading as well. You just gotta shut the screens. It's okay to not trade, right? We have to realize that it's okay to not trade, guys. You don't have to trade every single day. Today for me, did not take a single trade today, and I'm totally fine with that, knowing the market never gave me a solid opportunity to take advantage of. So I'm just going to sit here and wait for the market to actually call out and tell me that it's ready to do something, and then I can take advantage of it. I need more context in this, but it does look good. I can tell you sweep for value gap. You have that little break right there. Looks good. This also is that I'm guessing that's the same NQ trade. Yeah, let's look good too. Break, pull back to that fair value gap. Looks good. Oh, aim. Oh, I thought I'd give it an 8. I'd give it an 8. Finally figured out how to layer my strategy, how you've been saying, starting to build a lot more confidence. Awesome, Jet. Nice to hear, brother. Love it. Love it. I will get that cemented in my head. If I decide not to trade in the AM, then no trades for me that day. 100%. Yep, I agree. What is SMT? SMT is a divergence between ES and NQ. So notice if we, go to the 4-hour here on ES and NQ, you can see that this little, this drawn in thing that I have here. Let me zoom out here. You can see at this point in time, NQ is making a higher high, right? Notice we swept this high on ES or on NQ. We're making a higher high, but on ES, we haven't broken this high yet. So this is now forming a lower high. So this is a bearish SMT divergence. It's a divergence between ES. This is bearish. So I want to see us sell back off to take out the sell side draw, which is these equal lows right here on ES. What's the difference between an order block and a breaker block? A breaker block is an order block created from a market structure shift. I got on like 10 minutes late. Did you already go over expectations for tomorrow, potential direction? Yeah, I'm bearish going into tomorrow. That's pretty much it. But again, I want to see more formation or more structure start to form because right now we're just kind of chopping in this range. So I'd want to see a little bit more structure to the downside. I do want to see. Any tips for trading consolidation? Just don't trade. When there's consolidation, you just don't trade. This looks good too. Now this one's a little bit harder for me since, I mean, this is not a bad trade at all. But for me looking at this, I don't really see a clear break of structure yet, right? We have a big displacement move to take out that high right here, external, and then big sell it back off. But there's no really low that we've broken through yet until it was this right here. So if I was to take a short, I mean, this isn't bad though. This is bad. And there's good risk on this. So you applied good risk. That's all that matters. Oh, I didn't even see you had this too. Oh, okay. Nas looks insane. Wait, why did ES like sell off a little? Nas sold off so hard. Huh. Okay. I noticed chop days ruin me, so I've learned to be patient for the clear directions. Yeah, guys, our job, we know what works for us, right? Like we know market conditions that work for us. Why should we even try to go against those things that work for us and try to trade something that's not optimal for our strategy, right? Like consolidation, like a day like this. I don't care to trade a day like this, right? Now you're going to try to always, right? When you first start, you're going to try to always find a way to trade that and always find a way to try to make money, right? But when you try to find ways, you're creating opportunity when there's really not anything there. That's what I always say, right? You're creating opportunity when there's really nothing there. So it's just having the discipline instead of being like, okay, how can I trade these days when my edge doesn't even fit this day? Say, you know what? It's consolidation day. There's no opportunity. I'm just not going to trade. That's how you have to think about it, right? We're opportunists, right? Whenever the opportunity presents itself, you execute. If there's no opportunity, you don't execute. It's just having the discipline to be patient enough to wait. Again, like I said, trading is a boring job. You have to have the discipline to sit there and wait for that setup. If first hours on market are bad, do you come back later in the day or just don't trade for the day? I'll come back later and look at like in the afternoon, but most of the time I'll take a quick glance. Like I'll maybe watch the markets for an extra 15 minutes in the afternoon. And then if it's still like I don't see anything, because most of the time I don't see anything, I will just continue to be slow action. Then I'll just, close my computer. How often do you find yourself not trading for the day? Not insanely often, but I'd say like probably once or twice every 2 weeks. Maybe once, probably I'd say like once every, I'd say like a couple times a month. A couple times a month, there's days where I just don't trade because there's nothing there. Can you go over bad SMTs? Bad SMTs, right? I don't take an SMTs all have to do with context, right? If you were going to take a trade off of an SMT, you have to have confidence in the actual context of what the SMT is, right? Like this SMT gives us a good direction, right? It has context to it. This is an SMT that we can probably trust. And the reason is because zooming out on a bigger time frame, our bias is already bearish, right? Looking at the daily, we haven't swept this sell side yet. We've swept external buy side here. Big displacement back inside the range. Pull back to daily fair value gap, already rejecting. Sell side is obviously this low. So if we have a bearish SMT, this is something we can trust because it's aligning with all of our other confluence, right? An SMT I probably can't trust is if we end up forming an SMT like now, right? Like somewhere like here, right? Or let's say we take the low out maybe, right? Like it might bounce for a little bit, right? We might end up sweeping this low, right? Like this. We might end up, sweeping this low and then bouncing like this and then pulling back to a fair value up and then heading lower, right? So stuff like this are going to be lower probability because you have no context. You're fighting the overall trend. That's why in our scalping model, you have to have an SMT in favor of the trend for it to be valid, for you to be able to take a trade off of it, because that's going to be the highest probability, right? So don't focus on, now it's important to draw them, right? It's important to draw them. Like the other day when we took that scalping model trade, I exited all of my 100% of my position on my first TP because I recognized we were forming an SMT against us, right? Now, even though the drawn liquidity might be lower, if I'm scalping, right? If I'm scalping, which that is, I'm a scalping model, then I'm going to take it off when I know we're going to bounce, right? If we're going to bounce and I'm probably going to get stopped at break even, I'm going to take it off because that SMT is showing that we're probably going to bounce. But if it's an SMT against the overall trend and it's something that, could possibly just not go in my favor, there's no reason I need to trade that. If you want high probability setups, let the SMT go in your favor, have context with it, and then use it. It can be hard for me because I work from home at my setup all day long. So I close out a TOS, but then inevitably it ends up open again. Got to get rid of the FOMO feeling of closing the charts. No, I 100% agree, man. A lot of I was exactly saying when I first started trading. Again, I think it is for a lot of people. When you get into trading, you're very eager to learn. You just want to learn. You just want to experience. And from somebody who's been trading for quite some time, the more that you trade and the more experience you gain, the more you realize how important it is not to be on the charts. It's like your life outside of trading is very important. And the reason is because when you learn not to care about what the market's doing, not only is it helping your mental, not only is it helping your trades and anxiety when you're trading, but you can actually live your life without having any sort of stress or anxiety with trading, right? Some people can't do that. Like trading is not meant for the faint of heart. Like there's people that I will not recommend trading to because I know them as a person and I know that they will fail. Like I just don't recommend trading to them. If you can't have, the ability to withstand, emotional and, psychological torture, and be able to deal with that and emotional anxiety, then you're never going to be successful. So the biggest thing is realizing the markets aren't your entire life, right? You have to be able to have the ability to just close out the charts and not give a fuck what happens, right? That's the biggest thing. You should not give a fuck about what the market does if you are not in a position. That's always what I say, right? Like, I don't care what we do right now. I don't care. I really don't, because I'm not in a position. Now, when the market does something, I'm going to react to it and say, okay, I think that this can happen next. Okay, I think this can happen next. And then when it happens, then I can take, action with it. But if I'm trying to predict something and I'm going to say, what, like right now we're looking good, I'm going to enter, short maybe right here without a proper setup. And then the entire rest of the day, I'm sleeping, going to bed at night, knowing I'm inside of a trade with context that might not even be something I should, need to be paying attention to. And it just adds an extra stress in your life, right? Especially when you're new in the markets, you're just obsessed, right? Because when I first started trading, I was literally obsessed. And all I did was I wanted to check the markets. I'd be at lunch, and go on my phone, check what fucking ES did, right? You get to a point where you just stop caring, right? I made my money in the morning. I'm going to go enjoy my day. That's why I worked so hard, because all I need to do is wake up for 30 minutes, trade, make my money, and I can go live my life. But you don't need to, overly obsess over trading. You need to keep it limited, because I'm not going to say you will burn out, because it depends how bad you want it, but you got to focus on the importance of, just living your life. What a blunt way of saying that. I know you will fail. It's true. Like, I don't recommend trading to all my friends. Like, all of my friends from high school, like in college, they know what I do. And they're like, should I get into trading? And I always say no. I say, no, you probably shouldn't. And I say that out of love. Like, I say that out of like pure love, and because I want the best for some. Like, if I literally don't recommend trading to anybody. Like, I'm being serious. If I tell anybody what I do and they're like, should I get into it? I'm like, no, because I know myself, and I know 99% of traders fail. Like, if logically speaking, why would I tell somebody to do that when I'm probably just leading them down the path to failure? Like, there's only a certain amount of people that are willing to fail 1,000 times over, spend 2 years of straight failure, thousands of hours put in to get no return. Not a lot of people can do that. For you, what makes traders fail? Ooh, that's a good question. Let me think about that one. What makes traders fail? Lack of discipline, lack of patience, lack of acceptance of risk. Pretty much, dude, just lack of discipline in every sector, right? The discipline to keep proper position size, the discipline to, only take your setups, the discipline to, wait for your entries and not chase, the discipline to, not trade when you shouldn't be trading. That's the biggest thing. because the reason why traders fail is all of it's just from making stupid mistakes, and they know what they're doing. Like every trader knows what they need to be doing. You know what you should be doing, right? It's just the hardest thing is just actually doing it, right? It's having the discipline to actually just follow your rules. You know how to be successful. I've given you the tools to be successful. You know how to trade. You know what you need to look for. You know everything. It's just having the discipline. I bet most of you in here could attest what your biggest days or your biggest losing days, and the reason that you're failing is because there's just days where you don't follow your rules. You break your rules. You oversize. You trade when you shouldn't be trading. You take stupid setups, and that's the reason you're failing. Not because you don't understand the content of anything. It's just because you don't have the discipline to sit there and not take a trade. So a lot of it's just all discipline. That is the failure for a lot of traders. Failure or discipline just in everything. Everyone at my work asked me to teach them, but I always refuse. Yep. Would you say being a successful trader is simple, but definitely not easy? Yes, I would. I would say, again, like I always say, you know what you should be doing. I feel like this is with everything in life too, not even just trading. Like, you know what you need to do to be happy. You know what you need to do to be successful. It's just doing that. My dad, my father would always say to me, there's two things in life that you will always struggle with, and it's self-control and self-discipline. Those are the two things every single person will always struggle with in their entire life, right? It's just, you know how to live your life. You know what's best for you. It's just actually doing it, right? I'm between the lines of trying to be disciplined, but also being aggressive enough to take trades. I see myself missing trades that I would usually take, but I miss it because I want to be disciplined. So the biggest thing I'd recommend for that is you have to recognize what's being disciplined and what's your actual edge, right? Because right now you're just psyching yourself out from what I hear. If you have a setup that works for you, but you're just at that point, I believe you're just more scared than disciplined because you don't have the confidence to take whatever setup you're looking for. So what I'd say is lower your size when you see those setups, or maybe, you don't know what your setup is. You still want to figure that out. Enter with low size on, the setups that you think are going to, be profitable for you. Take them, see if they work out, journal them. And then the more experience you gain, you're going to recognize what's your most confident setup that you trade. And the more you trade it, the more confident you're going to be without hesitating, right? You're going to see it, you're going to enter, right? And you're going to have the discipline to wait until you see it, right? That's just the biggest thing, is building confidence to be able to be disciplined to sit there, because you got to know what you're looking for, right? If you don't know what you're looking for, then there's really no point, but you have to have discipline to sit there if you know what you're looking for. 4.5 years and I'm still hacking away at it. My first strat was profitable. I wanted to change, so I came to this strat. How you like it so far, Mo? What was the turning point that you realized and helped you become profitable? What was your aha moment? Yeah, I get that question a lot, and I always say the same answer. It's not a strategy. It's not anything. It's the thing that made me profitable is a mindset. It's literally just a mindset, and it's kind of a combination of all these things that I say. Like when we do charting sessions, when we do live sessions, I always say the same things to you guys. For the people who have been here for long enough, all of those little spiels I go on are what has made me profitable, and that's why I always say it, because it's the most important thing. The most important thing is not what happens on this chart. It's not. What happens up inside your head. And if you don't understand that and don't know how to control it, then it's going to be very hard for you to be successful. Once you figure this out, that's the easy part. The easy part is figuring out, the actual technicals of what we're doing. The hard part is, controlling it and how to actually execute using a system and then following that system. So my aha moment was a mindset shift in kind of multiple ways, right? Multiple ways being, number one, like we said before, I don't care about what the market does. You stop caring. Like, I don't care. I don't care to be right. I don't care to be wrong. All I'm doing is applying risk and applying a system. That's all I'm doing. I'm taking advantage of an opportunity that I have and backtest it and have experience enough to know that I actually have some sort of edge, right? When people say you have an edge, it means you have something probability wise, a system that can beat the market, right? If you have an edge, then, you have money. It's just following that edge, being disciplined to sit there and wait for that edge, right? So mindset shift also being, following your system. I'm not here to make money. I'm here to make good trades. When you think about it like that, you're going to make money. Now, it might sound stupid, but when I say I'm not here to make money, I'm here to make good trades, that means I'm going to make a lot more money, right? And that's the biggest mindset, is not being focused on profits, but focusing on the process, right? This is a process-oriented game, not a profit-oriented game. If you're focused on profits, that's going to change your whole psychology when it comes to trading. You're going to be focused on, letting your runners go more. You're focused on, having a looser price target because you want to make more money. You're not focused on the actual chart and where you think the chart's actually going to go. When you start thinking about purely just the chart and focusing on where the market's going to go, and you stop thinking about the profits, then you're going to end up making a lot more money. Money is just a tool in trading. That's all it is. It's just a tool. You have to focus on actually the craft itself that's making you money. That should be the first thing that you're focused on. That's why if you don't have good risk, it's going to be hard to focus on the system because you're focused on losing money instead of the system. So you have to have a size that not only are you comfortable with losing, but you can have consistency with it. How do your parents feel about you trading now? I mean, of course they're on board after I started making money. But they weren't on board the first 2 years. I mean, they support. I won't say they didn't support me, but they were just very again, your family's, again, you can't be mad at your family if they don't support you. Again, you got to think about it like this, right? If my kid came to me too, I had nothing to know about trading, and I do research, and all I see is trading's gambling, 99% of traders fail. Of course I wouldn't want my fucking kid to do that. Like, of course, any good parent would say the exact same thing, right? Like, you just have to recognize they want what's best for you. And sometimes that means, just looking at on paper, it's probably not the best thing, right? How many weeks or months do you need to be profitable until you can consider yourself profitable? That's a good question. I guess I'm probably not the person to tell. I guess that's an opinion based thing. I would say whatever your net is, like I was down like $12,000 to $15,000 in my first 2 years of trading. Now, obviously I've made a lot more than that now, but I'd say once you outweigh the wins from your losses in your journey, and you then you can find consistency. So it's after you outweigh those losses and then you start making consistent money for at least 3 months, I'd say you're profitable. But again, trading is a consistency thing. You're always improving, right? I wouldn't say it's kind of a hard thing to say because somebody that's profitable can become unprofitable, right? Like, that's why it's a very hard job, because emotionally you got to always be on top of it, always adapting, always, yeah. Do you have to learn how to conquer your mind and not give a fuck when your subconscious is telling you? Absolutely. I fucking love this strat. It just makes so much sense. I used to just trade support and resistance VWAP, but I ended up not liking it. Yeah, I could not imagine trading that. Let's say I'm trading and I'm very disciplined, but still not profitable, but following all my rules. What would be the problem? I mean, I can't say without seeing how you trade, but I'd recommend, if you have, again, journaling all your trades, right? Because if you're disciplined, still waiting, then it means it has something to do with your system. You're either, over leveraged on certain trades, your losses are bigger than your winners. You don't know what you're looking for. There could be a bunch of different things, right? So that's why journaling is so important. Would you say the reason for 99% of failures is because they can't take the mental, or they quit because of lack of discipline? Absolutely. They quit when they see, because people don't like to fail. That's why in trading, you can't have an ego. You have to push your ego to the side, because people don't like being wrong, and people like being right. So the people that like being right, all they want is right. They don't want to follow a system. They don't want to have risk management. They don't want to actually make money. They want to be right. Right. Like, I see so many people that are like, oh, I called SPY at 420. That was the bottom today. Look at me. Okay, but how much money did you make? Okay, what's your consistency? Like, that's what they're showing off. Like, they called something. Like, I don't give a fuck. I really don't care. And the sooner you realize that all these people on Twitter and all these traders that are showing off, saying all their, I called all this shit today, blah, blah, blah. Like, all they're doing is feeding their ego, and all that's doing is building bad habits. I am telling you right now, I will surpass all of these motherfuckers. because I know I can learn from all of their mistakes that they don't even realize are mistakes. I know the system. I know what it takes to be successful. And when I look at other successful traders and I still see what they can improve on, that's how you know you have a good mindset. Because you're still looking at the best of the best and you're still finding things that they can improve on. You have to think like that. And I think ego is one of the biggest things in trading. It's learning that you shouldn't care if you're right or wrong. All you're doing is applying a system. That's it. And sometimes that system will be wrong. And you have to accept that. Losing is a part of trading. That's a part of the system. It's a part of your edge. It's just having consistency with it. Like, I don't care if I make a trade. I'm not care if I'm right or am I wrong. Am I applying good risk? Am I applying good rules? That's all that matters. The consistency of that will bring me profits in the long run. I find myself expecting SMT from the market. How can I change that? That's a good thing, though. I mean, if you're able to see SMTs before it forms, that's a good thing. But I don't. You said it in a way that might be bad. So how is it bad for you, or why do you think it's bad? How would you most efficiently trade while working a job on the side to build capital? It depends what time your job is. You can be profitable in certain market conditions and unprofitable in others. Yep, exactly. I joined late. This is going to be uploaded on YouTube. Yeah, it'll be uploaded after this. How quickly do you think someone can become profitable? I know people that have become profitable 6 months. I know people that have become profitable in 2 years, 1 year, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. Everybody's journey is different. You should never, ever compare your journey to somebody else's, ever. And I used to do that when I first started trading. I would go on Twitter, see all these people, all their profits posting, 20K, 30K days. Like, I'm 6 months into trading and I'm comparing myself to someone who's been trading for 5 years. Like, there's no logic behind that. You shouldn't compare your journey to somebody else's, because you have to think about it logically. You too, even though that you've maybe put in the same time and same effort, you've experienced completely different things. Your 1,000 hours of screen time and my 1,000 hours of screen time are completely different. We could be looking at different things, trading different strategies. Your experience has no correlation to my experience whatsoever. So when you compare yourself to somebody else, all it's doing is just diminishing yourself. And all you think is, I'm not good enough. It's all negative. Like, why put yourself in that situation? That's why also another point of discipline of the mind, to be able to not put yourself in situations that will hurt you mentally. Let me say that again. Everybody listen. When I say discipline is the downfall of traders, it also goes into everything, including the discipline to know what's good for you and what's bad for you. Why do you look at other people's journeys and other people's profits, compare them to you, when you know all it's going to do is bring you down, right? You know what's good for you, what's bad for you. It's not that hard to figure out. You just have to control it and control your mind enough to say, you know what? Like, I don't give a fuck that this guy just made 20K. Good for him, right? But me, I'm going to focus on my journey because it has nothing to do with anybody else besides myself. So having the discipline to not put yourself in situations that is just going to hurt your mental. That goes just in life in general. Teacher got me a strat. You simply adopted me and helped me through the journey. Let's go. Do you take screenshots of your trades and go over it and try to use that as an image for you're looking for? Where do you journal your trades? So I made a journaling video. Go to my YouTube. I made a whole journaling video on journaling on OneNote. It's literally free. When I first started trading, I used to journal on OneNote. What are your thoughts on this trade I took? Stop is too tight on this. Your stop should at least be at the top of that previous wick of the fair value gap. It's not bad. Weird question. Do you know why the trading chart skips 5 p.m. to 6 p.m.? It's because market's closed. And then there's overnight session. So there's a gap. Closes and then reopens. I think. Wait. $5 p.m. to 6. I'm not exactly sure, actually. I don't know. It's been interesting studying how price interacts with New Day opening gap after watching some ICT videos on it, for sure. Wouldn't that be 4 to 5? This is EST. I don't really see a gap though, so I'm not sure. Justin, when are you gonna host a Shy versus BMAC boxing? I'm not going to. Yeah, this is new. This is a new weekly opening gap from previous week. I kind of took off a lot of the other ones actually because it kind of was just invading my chart. I didn't like how it looked, and I wasn't really using them that much, but do you use same strat as CJR? No. I mean, it's similar, but different. How does new week opening gap affect your strat? That's a good question. So what I look for new week opening gap is most of the time you can tell how the week's going to go based off of how price moves around that gap. So a lot of the time, if we're consolidating for the week, we'll always go back to that previous weekly opening gap. So you can tell, right, looking at this week, right when this was Monday or Friday, right, we go from Friday to Sunday open. Notice when this week started, we would always go back, right? It would always act as a magnet. We'd always retrace back to this level. We'd go down, immediately go back up to it, go above, go immediately go back, go down, create a new low, go back, all right, go back to it, go back, right? We just always ended up going back to that previous weekly opening gap. So when that ends up happening, most of the time you expect just consolidation. Now, if we get a trend move, right? So if we were going to look at a weekly opening gap, I think I already deleted it, but our weekly opening gap for this week is somewhere up here, right? It's like right here. So notice, now we could go back to this tomorrow. We could. I'm not going to say never. Definitely could go back to this tomorrow if we get just a big push, but I would like to see a continuation lower. What's the next thing? Should I start using them? You can. I'd recommend, if you are, just keep the last 3 weeks on your chart and just watch how it reacts to price. That's just the biggest thing. Watch how it reacts to price. Don't take any trades based off of it. Just watch how it reacts to price and gain experience with it. You and TJ are planning another webinar? Yeah. It should be 2 weeks from now. I'm flying to Puerto Rico on the 3rd. So I'm going to go see TGR in Puerto Rico early June. We're going to do a webinar there. So together IRL, we're going to do a webinar. And then we're also going to probably film a podcast. And then from Puerto Rico, we're flying to Miami together to go to the FX Summit. So can you explain your scalping model in the most simplest terms under like 30 seconds? Because I know it, but I guess a simpler version of it. Okay, so 30 seconds. All right. So the things you need required for a scalping model is clear trend move, clear drawn liquidity, large volume, SMT in favor of the trend, move to discount, and then a fair value gap. And then a clear drawn liquidity. I think I already said that though. You should start vlogging. So I am going to vlog the trip. Now I vlogged my trip to LA, but you know what? Me and Tyler are actually talking about this. Dude, it's so awkward vlogging, bro. Like, I'm just not an influencer. Like, I don't give a fuck. I could give less of a fuck. Like, being in public and whipping out a camera, bro, like, it's just awkward as fuck. Like, talking to a camera in front of a bunch of people in public is the most, like, uncomfortable fucking thing, bro. It's not fun. Like, I went to LA and I would record, like, when I was with my bros. But when I was out in public, dude, I was not recording shit. I didn't want to do that. So that's why TGR has a cameraman, because he just records him wherever he goes. I need a fucking cameraman to come with me and just record me wherever I go, because holding the camera and like holding a selfie, walking and being like, "What's up, guys? So we're going to Chick-fil-A." Like, that shit's cringe as fuck. Like, I was in fucking Irvine And then me and my buddy went to this, me and Kenny went to this boba place, and these like teenage girls around the corner. I was me with my buddy, and I had the camera on. These girls come up to me and they're like, "Are you a vlogger?" And I was like, "No." Feels talking to yourself, yeah. One of my old buddies just asked me to teach him, and I said highly recommend it. Speak of the devil. You see, TJR got looted today. Yeah, he lost like 20K somewhere. What? Do you know a simple trick to get out of that embarrassed mindset? Just say in your mind that you can kick everyone's ass. Builds confidence, dude. See, normally I'm I don't like I'm very confident in myself. Like I don't really get. I'm not an insecure person about things. Like I don't give a fuck about doing anything in public. The thing that I just don't like is this is what I've sworn I would not become. You know, like I'm not like I despise TikTok, bro. All these TikTok influencers, YouTube like these motherfuckers suck, bro. Like these are not normal people. I do not want to put on a front, bro. I'm just some normal ass guy who's trying to fucking go enjoy life, teach some trading. Like I don't care to be like, yo, what is up, guys? Welcome to the vlog. We're gonna go fucking like I don't give, dude. That shit's lame. That shit is lame. Those are straight up lamos. Like I just don't want to do that. Yeah, dude. Like I'm not gonna change. I'm like okay. The thing you guys got to know about me is I have a strong sense of character. Like I know who I am. I'm not gonna fucking money change people too. Like that's the thing. Like if I really cared to like make a shit ton of money and try to blow up, sure, I'll put on like I'd try to be somebody I'm not. Like I'll literally just become an influencer. But that shit is so boring. Like that's such a sad life to live. Do you have an accountant or do it all stuff? I don't have an accountant, but I have I guess I kind of do it all myself. I mean, I don't do it all myself. I get help from some people, but it's not like insanely. I'm not making like fucking like I'm not making insane purchases or like trying to get loopholes and shit where I can write off shit. Like I write off simple stuff. Like this trip, I'm writing off everything. I'm writing off the Airbnb. I'm writing off the plane ticket, the fucking FX Summit ticket. Like this is a business expense. Trading, going to an FX Summit trading in Miami, that's a business expense, dog. That's a write off. Paparazzi following and shit. Bro, I do not. I don't want to be that famous. I want to be rich and I want nobody to know who I am. I mean, that's not true. Like I love my following I have. I love my following I have now, but my following is so low key. Like I'm gonna be honest. I love this community so much more than TJR's. I am so glad that we have the community that we have. Like we got like actually like some mature people in here. TJR is literally a bunch of children. Like, have you ever considered creating an LLC if you don't already have one? I already have an LLC. Tactical Traders LLC, baby. What would your strat be if you were to take a 50K eval? My same strat that I would normally do. Same thing, just lower size, keep it consistent. They join his Discord for signals. Exactly. Yeah. They join his Discord for signals and his character, his just kind of personality, I guess. I don't know. Do you advertise on TikTok at all? That probably why TGR is only immature. What do you mean advertise? TGR gets bullied by his community. LMO, I feel bad because they generally try to help him. Dude, you think TGR gives a fuck? He's making a bag. You think he gives a fuck? Bro, if I was making as much money as TGR from my Discord, I don't give a fuck what you guys say to me. Like, are you on TikTok at all doing what TJR does? What do you mean? Like, what specifically TJR? What do you mean? Like, what TJR does? I literally went to WAP and asked for a refund for TJR's Discord because I bought the wrong one when I just wanted to switch to yours. Did you get a refund? Some guy literally, okay, to give you a sense of my character, somebody literally messaged me today that bought a yearly subscription. That's $600. He said, I accidentally used the wrong card. can I refund and use a different card? I said, yeah. Refunded this guy, no problem. I don't give a fuck. Hey, that was me. But through WAP, not TJR. Okay, yeah. TJR also just kind of has that like goofy ass personality that attracts the younger generation. That's true. That's true. Would you trade micros or minis on a funded? I feel like if I traded minis, I'm a fail. Yeah, trade micros. Trade micros. Your drawdown isn't that heavy. Or I mean, your drawdown is your drawdown is pretty small. So his Discord says Sue. Is a 250K funded worth it or just go live account? Again, I always say prove that you can actually grow a funded before you get a live account. Get a funded, grow it. If you fail it, you're not ready for live. What's a good copy trader for futures? I honestly could not tell you. What does it cost to get a funded account? It depends on what account, and it depends what prop firm. I find you TGR are a lot easier to learn from, in my opinion. I think it's because I'm more focused on teaching. Like, I think teaching, like, that's the important part. I want you guys to learn. Like, most of the time I'll give you a straight answer, but a lot of the time I want you guys to figure it out. Like, I'll give you the tools. I mean, I guess I do kind of give straight answers, but I want to focus on the teaching aspect of it. TGR doesn't have nightly sessions like this either. Couldn't imagine learning as much as I did without these. Much love, brother. I'm trading one mini ES because it makes the fees more worth it on TOS. I know this is not the smartest thing about transferring my money over to Tradeovate to use like 3 to 4 micros. Not sure if I'll not, because I don't know if the fees will actually be better. Dude, that's what I'm saying. TOS fees are absolutely insane, bro. People tell me if they should use TOS for futures. I say, hell no. TOS is the worst for futures because of the fees. The fees are insanely bad. You're pretty well spoken in general. If I was doing what you're doing, I'd be stuttering like a motherfucker. That's what I'm saying. People always think I'm a lot older than I am. I don't get along with people my age. I don't know why. Are you on Edge Pro? Yeah, so I have an Edge Pro account and then a Tradeovate. Didn't you have a 3K challenge? Yeah, you want to know what that 3K challenge is at right now? I've literally just been growing it. So that 3,000 I made the other day was on the 3K account, to give you a perspective. That $3,700 day was literally on that account. Is that a live account? Yeah, here, I'll show you what it's at right now. Were you full porting? Nope. This is just from consistency. Because I've had this for, let me not show you my login. I've had this for probably a couple months now. Fixed? No, not fixed. So the more the account grows, the more I've been, there you go. It's at 21K. The more the account goes, the more I up the size. 3K to 21K. What has it been? Probably, wait, I want to go back to my TikTok when I first made that post. When did I start? I want to say like 2 months, maybe 3 months. But again, I've been trading this. It's kind of funny because I'm starting to trade this one now, like how I normally trade. But when I first opened this account, I would trade this like just off the draw. So I would like buy something and then just hold it, kind of forget about it. Not really, like, had good risk, but I would just kind of hold it because I would have confidence on whatever the draw is. So because the reason is I didn't want to trade this and my other account at the exact same time, because it's just hard. It's hard to manage those like two things at once. Like, I would find that when I would do that, like, I would stop out on one of them, but then the other one I forgot I was in, and then I would take a bigger loss on it. So I was just like, I'm just going to focus on one account at the same time. So I just kind of traded them separately. Do you trade using TradeOvate through TradingView? No, I just do it on this. So literally this is what I have, right? I'll pull this up on my other monitor and that's how I enter. So limits, and then I just click whatever. I just have this DOM up. That's all I use. Do you have recommendations on how I should scale out of positions for my funded, given that there's a trailing threshold 2,500? That's a good question. It depends what your size is. So let's say you want your max loss to be like max loss, probably 500, right? You don't want to take a loss more than 500. So if you're going to look for wins, your wins need to be at least 500, right? So what I would recommend is, you know, if you are taking trades, you could scale out your full position on your first price target. If not, you can do your first, like have 2 take profits, take 50% off on the first one, and then let the rest go. But it's just going to be whatever fits your strategy the best. Why not just cash it out and focus on your main? Because I like having both. The reason I like having more, okay, I always say this: if somebody has $3,000 and you want to get into trading, open up 3 accounts, each one with $1,000. And the reason is because if you blow up one, which you're probably going to blow up one if you're first starting, you're going to have something else. Instead of putting all your money in one account, it's going to be super easy to blow that up because you're going to have no sense of money. Again, trading is one of the easiest jobs. You want to know why? It's because I click a button for a living. It's easy to click a button and it's easy to blow up all that money because all you're looking at is a number on a screen. It's easy. You don't even think it's real when you're trading. All you're thinking about is that number on a screen. So it is very easy to lose all that money. When you spread out and diversify yourself in multiple accounts, you're protecting yourself. You're hedging against any dumb decisions you make. That's the way I like to think about it. You mean full loss 500 or that? Yeah, if you take a loss, like it should be a max loss of $500. Yeah, like if you get stopped out on a trade, it should be max 500, probably a little bit less than that. Any reasons not to link TradeOvate into TV? No, don't do it. It's very laggy, I've heard. You won't get the best fills and it'll be laggy and yeah, just do it on the DOM like I do. On my 50K funded, I use 2 minis, but I usually risk 2.5 points. Is there anything wrong with that, or does that sound like a good risk? 2 minis, 2.5 points. Is that 2.5 points? Is that a good stop for you? That might be a little bit too tight. Again, your stop should be based off of whatever the chart is, and then you adjust your position size to the chart, right? I heard you chart on TOS sometimes, and why? For Bookmap. That's I only use TOS for Bookmap. Is there a way to trade on Rithmic account on a DOM live trading view or something? Is there a way to trade my Rithmic account on a DOM? TradeOvate. You can get a Rithmic account through TradeOvate. Actually, I think for 50K, I found a lot of success risking 230 and it goes relatively. Yeah, that's good risk. Good risk. What prop firm for funded account do you recommend? I want to look something small like 5K-ish. I think the minimum for most is going to be 25K or 15K. The most for most prop firms is going to be 15K to 25K. So I'd recommend doing, whatever the lowest is. Either that be Apex, Funded Futures Network. Those are probably the 2 that I recommend. Yeah. What is Rithmic? Rithmic is a separate thing for it's a prop firm. So Rithmic tracks your account pretty much. That's all it is. Just a separate, platform you need to download if you're going to do a prop firm with Apex. Depends on the account though. All right, guys. We've been live for around an hour. This was kind of fun. A lot of it was just answering questions. So if anybody has any extra questions, feel free to just @ me in the Discord and I'll always get back to you. So enjoy the rest of your night, guys. I will see you all tomorrow morning for live trade. So enjoy the rest of your night. Get some sleep. I'll see you all tomorrow. Peace.